So here we go. A little guide to mastering the Modulox Brain. So the Modulox is a synthesizer into which you can load different firmwares. So here, I'm going to introduce you to the synthesizer firmware, and then I'll show you how to load another firmware, and we'll try the sample. So here I've just connected it via USB to the computer, and on my computer here, you see that on my MIDI track, I have here ESP32S3 Dev. That's the Modulox. So if I start playing, here we go. We've got a simple sound now. We can change the oscillator's waveform. We can change Apple Swift modulation. We can change the pitch, of course. Here are all the classic parameters of a virtual analog synthesizer. A second form of wave. I can fine-tune it. There are a lot of parameters. Here's the envelope. Menu button that allows for easier navigation through the menus. So here, for example, is Let's go and load up a new sound, a preset. So we go here to load, press the button, and I can choose my preset. We pick preset 2, for example. With a bit of echo, so I can also go change different parameters. So the filter, for example. Here we have So what we can also do is do MIDI learn to be able to control the synthesizer with a MIDI controller. We can control all the parameters. So here, for example, I'll add an envelope. MIDI control. We'll randomly pick the 22nd. And here, there you go. So this envelope, just press here on this button, we switch to MIDI Learn mode. There, it has recognized the control change 22. I press it twice, and now when I play my sound, there you go. Then there are lots of parameters. You can assign LFOs. Of course, we can assign them to volume, cutoff, and all sorts of things. So here, the unison. If I switch to 4 voices and detune these voices a bit, and it's back and forth. There, if I go on the glide, I activate it. Now we will see how to load new firmware. That is the firmware. From the sampler. Here we unplug. Very important before plugging back in. Hold this button down. We can release the button. The screen does not turn on. That's normal. We are in a firmware loading mode. I will then browse on the website raspyaudio.github.io. I select the Brain module and I choose the sampler. Click on Connect, Connection, and Install Sampler. There you go. Now, the new firmware is installed. So, once it's installed, unplug and replug. The new firmware starts up. For the sampler, you have a short loading time because it loads all the samples into memory when you turn it on. You must wait for the LOD symbol. We remove ourselves, and there you go. So here, I have the first screen. We can load the samples we want. Here, we will load it into the sampler. For example, on set 1, I want a kick. Next, you can choose sample 2. You can go up to 16 samples here. So, sample 2, we're going to set a snare. That's it. In sample 3, we're going to set them. We don't care. And there you have it. Then, for each sample, then we'll go back to sample 1. the kick, we can adjust the start of the sample, the end. The pitch is very important. The MIDI channel that will be able to trigger this sound. So if we go back here on Ableton, we're going to create a new track. My sample is on channel 1, note 1. Note 1, that's so here, I can play. You might also want to pitch the note. In this case, we put it in pitch mode. And now, the note you play will change the song's key. From the sample, so if, for example, I play this, so now I've switched to pitched mode. The notes will vary. So if I go back, I'm putting back note 1. Now I'm going to take my sample 2, and I'm going to set it to note 2. You've got the idea. Note 3 on sample 3. So here, this sample is a bit too long. So, we're going to listen to it. There you go. Then the effects apply to all instruments, all examples. I can apply a filter. I can add a delay. Good. I'm going to show you how select, add samples, and especially set up the Wi-Fi. So on this menu, we can go to search Wi-Fi. So we go back on our favorite sites, Modulox Brain. And we choose the sampler Connect. Here we will choose Connect to Wi-Fi. So here, it's the computer that will scan all the Wi-Fi in the house. And we choose our Wi-Fi. And click on Connect. Once we've done that, the Wi-Fi will be saved inside the Modulox. When you plug it in next time, if you still have the same Wi-Fi, there will be no need to reconfigure it. So once we've done that, we can go to Load Samples. Here, an IP address will be indicated to us. Here, we will be given an HTTP address that we can connect to via our browser. The other samples, what will allow us to load it? So, we enter the address, which is indicated on the Modulox, on a browser, and always make sure the Wi-Fi is correct, is well connected, that the computer is properly connected to the same Wi-Fi as the Modulox. So here we come to a page. It's a server hosted by Modulox, and here we see all our samples, all the samples that are loaded inside. And here, we can do whatever we want. We can erase some, we can add more. And take it from the other side. For example, try. It is copied. Once you've done that, you can close your file manager. Restart the Modulox. Here you go, and here. We have our snare 0. For now, only WAV files can be loaded. In 16-bit mono. Of course, in the future, we will support many more formats. There, I think we've covered the sampler. Of course, there will be more tutorials in the future. I will show how to work with MIDI, external to a physical MIDI controller. And that's all for today.